Hello, I wanted to share a little bit more about my adventure with intrusive thoughts. So those things that come into our mind, no matter where we are or what we're doing, and they usually have an emotional charge. So our mind is bringing them up because there's some unfinished business. And up to this point, I've thought of them as intrusive thoughts, like they're interrupting me, I feel triggered, they're bringing up emotions that I don't like, and there's a nuisance for me to get rid of. And recently, I've gotten a little bit more perspective on them. So one of the things I've been focusing on the last several years is really becoming embodied, making sure that my spirit, my soul, my energy is fully seated in my body and that I'm able to move from that space. Because I realized that I wasn't embodied, that I was out floating somewhere else. Being in the body wasn't comfortable. I didn't like it and I didn't want to do it. So working on becoming more embodied and being with the body, being with this beautiful creation that was made just for me to fit in, to use, to navigate this 3D world in. So not only being in the body and being embodied, but being so grateful and thankful for this beautiful gift. And with that, all of a sudden I realized everything that had been packed away in that body, all of the memories, all of the thoughts, all of the emotions that were living in this body and causing some disruption. So that's where I find the pain sometimes. Oh, my hip hurts, or my leg hurts, or my knee hurts. So finding those places and then gently moving into them to unpack what's going on there. And as I move into those places and shift the energy and address the emotions, I feel more comfortable. There's less pressure and I feel more at home in this body. So that's where I was like, okay, intrusive thoughts, finding those discomforts, let's go at it. Let's work on it. Let's move it out of the way. And really viewing it from that, kind of aggressive stance. As I became more gentle, I allowed things to flow and I realized that everything has its purpose. So not only do I want to be in the body, but I want to pull all of my energy from all of the places that it has left or been taken or is existing to bring all of that into my being and coalesce all the energy that I can into this being and move from that space. So I realized recently when I had an intrusive thought, something that had happened, started playing in my mind. I thought, wow, I thought I had dealt with this. I was so kind to myself and I sat with myself and I loved myself through this triggering event. Why do I keep coming to this? And I realized that a piece of me was still in that memory. And so it wasn't just enough to go and be kind to myself and be gentle with myself and to love myself, but I needed to go and retrieve that lost soul part. Not only to just be with that lost soul part, but to sit with that piece of me that I had walked away from in the past. Sit with it, love it, be with it, and bring it back to me. Because that's what I had been wanting all along. I have wanted to return my energy to the places where it has been lost or taken or not being used for my day-to-day moment-to-moment presentness. So I wanted to bring all of that energy into the present. And so my being was allowing me to do that. Oh, by the way, you're being triggered to remember a place where you left something. So now it's time to go get that. And this has changed my entire outlook on intrusive memories. It's like, oh, by the way, here's a reminder you left something over here. Love it back to yourself so that you can be more whole. Because that has been my goal for the last several years, is to work on embodiment and in wholeness. Because I realized that the only way for me to truly be sovereign is if I am moving towards my wholeness in every moment. So things aren't just happening and I'm not just being triggered, but I'm able to grab those and bring it back to me, standing in my wholeness and standing more and more in my sovereignty. So now it's like this beautiful reminder. Oh, by the way, you left me over here. Come get me. I'd like to come back home now. And it has completely shifted the energy I have around intrusive thoughts. It's a reminder. It's a reminder to go get something that was left behind so that we can move forward. And the gentleness around this, I'm realizing how I approach things. The more I'm able to use grace and gentleness in that approach, the more integrated and whole that I feel. So I recommend to reframe that idea of intrusive thoughts, or those moments where things just start coming through. Oh, wow, it seems like I may have left some things behind. Let me go get that. Let me go into that memory, be present with myself, send myself love in this moment, send myself love in that moment, until I feel safe enough to return to wholeness. And viewing it as an invitation to return to wholeness. Because that drawing towards that moment is asking, I want to return. Can I return now? And every time we shove it away, it's like, nope, not ready. And that's okay. We're not going to be able to do all this work at once. But just open up to the idea that it is an invitation to return a piece of yourself to the present moment. And when we are able to do this, it gives us more energy, more power, more sovereignty. And then we can do it more and more. And we shift from pushing something away to us to inviting that experience, leaning into it, and allowing it to transform us. So I encourage you to try this out and see how it helps. And leave some comments, like, what is this experience like for you? When you are able to do this, how do you feel? How does it shift your being? How does it shift you to wholeness? Or how is it causing you challenge? Let us know. It was great talking with you. Lots of love.